But one thing before I get off of characters, there's one character that I just gotta talk about. And her name, what's her name, Eric? Because you know her name.
Her
What's
name
her
is
name?
Kobani.
Yeah, and I
Fan
can't stand that.
favorite.
I can't stand that. Yo, welcome to the Annie Raiders. And today we got an Annie review on Chainsaw Man. That's right.
Yo,
Big old Chainsaw Man. Before we
yes,
get into that,
sir.
I'm your boy, the Hezzy God, and
It's your boy, Zombie.
yeah. So if you're new around here, this is what we do. We're going to basically discuss, give a little review on Chainsaw Man, discuss the big things like the plot, the animation, the characters, the music. We're both going to say what we got to say about it. And at the end, we got to come to a mutual agreement on a rating. So, if I don't like it and he love it, we got to figure it out. We're going to have to find a middle spot. So, it
Yo,
can get interesting, because we got a Chainsaw Man manga reader over there,
look,
you know,
I dabble.
and me personally, I didn't read the manga, I just watched the anime. So, before I even get into my review, I just want to say Chainsaw Man was overhyped a lot. People were talking about it 24/7. And, I'm not going to say it was a bad thing. I was just going to say it didn't give the show the best look, when certain things happen. The show was good, we'll talk about it though. We'll get there. The main thing though, the plot. We got our boy Dingy,
Hmm.
our main character. He starts off not that good. Fast forward, he becomes a mystery character where he has this power to wield a chainsaw, amidst all these other powers. And the plot at the beginning, we really don't know much. We're getting introduced to Denji. We're getting introduced to the characters. But later on, we learn the main where the show is gonna go. They pretty much want to kill the Gun Devil, and he has to get a supporting cast around him to do that. And with that, there's a lot of action. So much action. I mean, we got the first fight that we seen, the Bad Devil fight. Well, we got the zombie fight
Yeah,
in the beginning,
yeah.
which that
First,
was for a first fight. I felt like it was pretty good.
yeah, it was
It
good.
was pretty good.
Yeah,
Then we get into like later fights like the bad, but that's an animation. Plot wise, plot wise, I feel like the plot, from an action anime, I feel like it does what it has to do. It keeps you entertained until you get the plot, and it has some comedy relief
yeah,
here
for
and
sure.
there. Some good comedy moments throughout the show. AKA Dingy getting throwing up in his mouth.
Yeah,
Great scene.
legendary.
So I mean, there's plenty of golden moments like that throughout the show, which I feel like it can keep you involved in the plot until you get into action.
Yeah.
How you feel about the plot?
Um, so I have completely read part one of the Chainsaw Man manga. I'm like maybe 15 chapters, 10 chapters behind on part two. But I can say the plot at the start of Chainsaw Man, even the plot as a whole, it's solid. It's like it's nothing crazy. It's not gonna, we're not in some Attack on Titan, big brain twists and stuff. But
Yeah,
you'll get what you need out of it for sure for the type of show it is. It starts off, not we don't really get much plot starting off for the first couple episodes actually until we learn about the Gun Devil, which is kind of the big bad and the main point of the plot. But yeah, like the entire first season, the plot doesn't progress too much. I think it's more about the character progression in the first season. Then, where we left off, stuff's gonna start really rolling with plot wise. But for now, it was more like an introduction, character progression, things like that, the world. But, it gave us enough to, where we could see where the plot could go and how it could turn out good.
I agree with that. So it's about the character. So let's talk about the characters since that
Yeah.
was part one was about. Let's talk about that character development. So
Yes.
you got your main character Denji. And I feel like he's the real reason why Chainsaw Man is so why he's the reason why people love it so much. He's a relatable main character, and why does he relate to everybody, man?
He just trying to cop a feel and live life, bro. He just wants
He's
to
just trying
eat,
to live that
sleep, and have a
life.
woman. You know?
And everybody can relate to that. And and he wants to he's ready to get that goal by any means
Any
possible.
means necessary.
He's ready to get that. And I respect that from a main character,
Hey, he's
And
not beating around the bush. He just blunt.
yeah,
He likes what he likes. He wants what he wants. He's not gonna do, you know, he'll do some immoral stuff, but not, like some crazy, freaky stuff.
yeah, and I think another good thing about Chainsaw Man, we got a nice cast of side characters, and the
Yeah,
relationship between the side characters is really the interesting part. Like the team that we get introduced to at the beginning, Aki, Power, and Denji,
yeah,
they don't really like each other at the beginning, and like compared to other animes, like you don't really see that. Like you might see some like some people not liking some people there and there, but like that triangle did not mesh well at all from the beginning, and it
yeah,
made for some interesting relationships down the down the down the story. It
yeah,
made for some nice building. So especially, I just want to say this right now, especially like kind of like the simile from Denji kicking Aki in the balls in the beginning, from Denji and Aki
yeah,
kicking that sword fiend in the balls. I like stuff like that. So
yeah.
that was beautiful when we talk about character development and characters. But one thing before I get off of characters, there's one character that I just gotta talk about. And her name, what's her name, Eric? Because you know her name.
Her
What's
name
her
is
name?
Kobani.
Yeah, and I
Fan
can't stand that.
favorite.
I can't stand that. I can't
Okay,
stand
okay, okay,
her,
okay,
bro. We're not gonna get into little details, but if you watch the show, you should know why. She's crying all the time.
okay.
Bro, she's just annoying. Like
I will say,
annoying.
I'm a big Kobani fan. She's a great character. But I will say, the manga, it did not feel as crazy as it feels in the anime. In the anime, she's whining a lot, and
Man,
I'm not even here for to say y'all are crazy. I can definitely see because even I was watching it. I love her, and I was like, damn, like, can you shut up a little bit?
yeah, like man, I felt like every time she was on the screen for like the first 4 or 5 appearances, all she was doing was whining. But I mean, I hope for better things for her. I'm not gonna hate her forever, but right now I don't like her.
Okay. Yeah,
Stamp on that.
Denji. Denji's just a goat main character, to be honest with you.
She's a
Probably
great one.
one of my favorite main character. He might be my favorite main character. Like,
Oh, okay.
I don't know, he's just a normal dude that became not normal, but he still has. Well, he's not really a normal dude because the way he grew up, it's crazy circumstances. He doesn't really have normal, like, human. He's not used to normal
Mm-hmm.
human functions that everyone else does.
Yep.
But that's what I like. The cast of characters in Chainsaw Man and the way they interact and progress is probably the strongest point of the series. And I
I will
think,
agree with that.
yeah, I think, like you said, they all start off, they're not cool with each other at the start, and then you slowly see Denji and Power. They get like this kind of like brother and sister type relationship. They just bicker, but they're kind of both on the same side. And then Aki, he comes around to Denji, and then he comes around to Power, and it's just like it's kind of like a family. Like they're all brothers and sisters basically, and you can,
Yeah, and
yeah,
yeah, and not to cut you off, but like about the family, like they even move in together.
yeah,
You get the scenes, the ending scenes,
yeah.
So I mean, I would definitely agree with that.
We
But
got
anything else you got to
characters
say on
like
characters?
uh I want to talk about the all the fiends we get introduced to towards the end,
Okay.
like the violence fiend, the spider devil, the angel devil, the shark fiend. There's just so many cool things you can do with characters in this show, and I think it does it. Especially, I'm a Angel is one of my favorite characters. I love his design. I like his power. I like his attitude, his demeanor, It's just cool. It's just this laid back dude, but if he touches you, like you just die basically. Your
We're
life gets
done.
drained
Yeah.
away. And it's just interesting to see how he handles that, like the little interaction he had with Aki. He asked for a handkerchief. Aki came up, gave him a handkerchief, no hesitation. He's like, "You're not scared that I can, kill you just by touching you?" And Aki's like, "I got 2 years to live, bro. It don't really matter."
The go, the go, Aki. But yeah,
But yeah, the characters, that's the strongest point of Chainsaw Man, in my opinion. And to be like, just let you know now, we haven't even seen the top of the characters. It's a
okay,
lot of characters coming.
okay.
There's a lot of characters coming that are gonna
And
be
I mean,
crazy.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's what you want to hear as an anime watcher that
Yeah,
knows nothing more from this show, because the characters being a strong point is already a great thing, but knowing that we're gonna even get more insane characters down the line,
yeah,
definitely gonna make this show a lot better.
yeah.
But
We even get.
animation.
Oh
Oh,
man,
okay. You got something else? You got something else? Go ahead.
I was I was just gonna say like even Mappa knows like they gave the manga readers a little sneak peek at the end of the show. We saw a girl, we saw her hair, her sneakers. She said a little something. And
Hold on, wait a minute. Something ain't right. Y'all still watching this video and y'all ain't liked and subscribed? Come on!
that was it, and that was the end. They dropped that in there for the manga readers. That's a character. When that hits the anime, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. That's all I'm gonna
Man,
say on that.
let's get into that juice,
The juice,
that meat, that animation. And
Mappa,
before we, yeah, I was just
Mappa.
gonna say before we get into this, Mappa. Y'all are working over there, huh?
They're working too much. They
Working.
need to calm down.
Man, like
They put
I
too
would
much.
definitely say, animation for Chainsaw Man was definitely like going up some stairs.
Yeah,
It just got higher and higher and higher as the
yeah, for
series
sure.
progressed, and it was great how the show ended, because you really got to see the pinnacle of what it will look like,
Hmm.
in the future. They were brawling at the end.
Oh yeah,
Talking about just fight scene, fight scene, fight scene. I will say I will say like Genji versus the sword
yeah,
scene was a little bit lackluster for me. I was
yeah,
expecting a little bit more, but it looked good. So I'll give Chainsaw Man that it looked good, but I felt like personally fights, like every fight, there was like no fight that I would go back and watch from Chainsaw Man. Like, that was a crazy fight. Like, let me throw that on the TV. Like,
yeah. That's
personally,
the
personally,
that's the that's the problem with it only being 12 episodes, and I was really
yeah,
hoping we get like a season one, part two, maybe. Is because the way they did it, like, and throughout all the Chainsaw Man, the beginning is the weakest part. The stuff we watched in this season, that's all the weakest part of Chainsaw Man. But it's still, a very high level, which is great.
yeah,
But
it's good.
it's the weakest part. It's nothing like, I don't know. It's just it doesn't compare to everything else that happens. But yeah, the Denji versus the Katana Man is like it ends very quickly and abruptly. I agree with that for sure. But yeah, like it ends abruptly, but yeah, I just wish we got one more arc. It would have really did it,
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. And
but we
like
have to
for
wait
for the
now.
manga readers, like what's coming next,
Yeah,
the good arcs. And it's like just from an anime person, like the show got hyped so much. It looks beautiful, the story's good, but like I felt like there's nothing to make me go like, I see why, it's so hyped. Like,
yeah,
I know why it's hyped, but there's not like something that I could be like, I can go to that and be like, oh, this is what they were talking about. But it looked good though. It
yeah.
looked good, and
To
I'll
be
give it that.
honest with you, I don't even think the most impressive part about this anime is Chainsaw Man. I think it's like how much effort Mappa put into the anime, because it's like insane. But yeah, uh, it's yeah, like I understand it can feel like anticlimactic, especially that last fight. But it'll get there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
And I
I feel it.
think it had probably the most hype any show's ever had, to be honest, in the
Oh
anime.
yes, in existence,
And
literally.
I don't think it met the hype. I don't think the first season met the hype, but I don't think it met the hype because that's impossible to do. But I think it probably
Yeah,
got as close as it could have with what they were animating in the first season. I think it was the best possible outcome for what they animated.
I mean, like I said, my opinion on that is it. I wouldn't say it met the hype for me because, like I said, it was just so out the water. Like I never seen anything as hyped as this. But I can respect it. I can see
Yeah.
why it was hyped as much as it was, and for that I give them kudos because to even make me say see it, I respect it when it was hyped as much as it was. Man, that's a pat on the back right there.
Yeah.
That's some good shit.
It didn't,
That's some good shit.
that's the sad part about knowing what happened, like the rest of the stuff that happens is like that first season nothing insane happens, but it's just like knowing the rest of the stuff that happened in the story, the rest of the arcs. Like if we just had the whole first part animated, it would have met it for sure. It would have met it
Mm,
easily. But we gotta. It's the weakest
wait.
part of the story. We got it. It was great. We gotta wait for the rest, and it'll deliver
Yep.
then for sure.
All right. The last button in the shirt. The last
Probably,
one. The music.
man.
Let's talk about it. Let's get
Can
into
we
it.
talk about having what 12 different openings?
12 different
Is this a
EDs.
first? Like
I will say I'm pretty sure it is the first, but they're not the first anime to do multiple
multiple, but the
endings.
first I have like one for
Yeah.
every
But to
episode.
have to, yeah,
Yeah,
every episode they are the first, I believe.
and it's crazy because like I'd say almost all of them were bangers. They were
I
great.
mean, visually,
Oh,
kind of going back to the animation, visually they
yeah,
were
visually
they
they were
were
insane. It
they
was
were
like,
great.
and they were all
Some of
different
the
and unique. It was just,
Yeah, some of the best EDs I've seen in a while visually, music
yeah.
wise. When you have Eve and like some of those other
They had
hard hitting
the guy
artists,
from Unravel, like
it's like TK. Like what
yeah,
you
TK.
can't miss. Like you can't miss when you have those kind of artists. So I feel like the music is might be one of the most sleeper things that people are gonna sleep on Chainsaw Man Part One or whatever we're gonna call it season one.
Yeah.
The amazing opening. I don't know if they're gonna
Oh,
be able to.
the opening was incredible.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to come back with another opening like that. I
That's
feel like that opening really embodied Chainsaw Man. It was quirky.
yeah.
It gave you like everything that Chainsaw Man embodied, and I feel like that was a great opening one.
And the
Great choice
entire
from
thing
them.
being references is like it's just so cool because the author is a huge fan of Western movies, and so damn near every scene is a every frame is a reference to a movie, and it's just cool to see, especially when you see
Yeah, that was
comparison.
yeah, and that was kudos on Mappa for doing something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
So
even like the OST, like the main one they always use when you hear the little piano keys, and it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's this feeling, it gets your heart every time. It was so
yeah. Good,
good.
good OST. Good OST. Good
Yeah.
OST
And
for sure.
they knew when to use the music. I think that was important. Like right
Oh yeah,
before, Katana Man and Denji are about to fight, you hear the ending three where
yeah.
it just goes crazy off the wall. Probably the best ending by the way. But yeah, the music, it was great. It was great.
It
I don't
was
think
very good.
it was the best music I've ever heard,
No, definitely
but
not.
it was some of the most consistent for how much there was.
I would say it was very strong.
Yeah, for sure.
Very strong. I would say it was strong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Any extras we want to talk about before we get into
Um,
the
any
rating?
extras?
Any
I
extras?
want to talk about Makima.
Okay.
This figure, this legendary figure. My favorite character, personally. I think, you know, we're just getting started. We've been said that we're just getting started, but for the amount of, you know, badass characters and just cool characters that are going to come and are already here, and Makima to remain my favorite, I think, people got a lot to look forward to for all of these characters. I think it's
I wanna say on that note that like as someone who doesn't know what she does in the future, she has to earn it for me. Like I respect her as a character right now, but it has to be earned. And right now, I just don't see it yet. But
yeah,
I respect her. You know,
yeah.
she's a nice, mysterious character. You know, I can see where the hype is, even though oh my goodness, her hype is kind of crazy right now. But
Hey
kind of,
man.
I did see some wild stuff on Twitter, some wild stuff on Reddit. But hey, I'm gonna give y'all Chainsaw Man's a fan pass. I'm gonna give y'all a pass on that one because oh my lord, I didn't see some wild stuff, bro.
uh,
But
you know,
back to what you were saying.
and I want to leave it off. I want to talk about what there is to look forward to for
Okay,
Chainsaw Man.
let us know.
We got a little teaser at the end. You know, female character. Basically, that's the next arc. Involves her. That's all I'm gonna say. No spoilers. It's probably obvious that it's gonna involve her. They showed her, but I think you can kind of consider this first season as like we finished the prologue.
Okay.
After, as soon as next arc starts next season, it's just a ball that it doesn't stop rolling. It's non-stop action, craziness, just all kinds of stuff, and it just never stops. It just constantly elevates and elevates and elevates every arc, and then it ends off, and it's just like, damn, it's over. And I think if you enjoyed Chainsaw Man as its first season, there's not a single way for you to have any disappointment for what else is going to come. It's going to deliver no matter what, as long as Mappa does their thing.
Yeah, that's a bold statement. That's a
Hey,
bold
I
statement.
believe in it.
Okay. I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah,
All right, so what are we talking about, man?
I gotta hear you
Into the
first.
reviews.
We
Into
gotta.
the
So to
reviews.
remind you guys, we have to agree on a rating. And me, Chainsaw Man is my favorite manga. It'll be my favorite anime when it's part one is done being animated. Not yet. I think very highly of Chainsaw Man, basically. So this is gonna be tough for me to come to terms with what he's trying to tell me.
Look, look. I just want to say this off the rip. I am not here to shame Chainsaw Man. It was a great, it was a great anime. Like I said, I feel like the hype, killed it a little bit for me.
Okay.
If it was another just show that just came out, I heard about it, it probably would have been like way better, more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, that's the
But
problem
it,
with hype.
yeah, but it delivered, and that's what I want to get across. Even though it was hyped to a crazy extent, it delivered to what I expected. Not to what I expected, but no, what I expected because I knew that I wasn't gonna reach that height.
Yeah.
I knew that, so I set a bar that wasn't too high. So it
Mhm.
reached that, and for that, I give it its props because even to reach that bar for all the hype that was given for the anime is
Mhm.
still good. So
Yeah.
with that being said, a beautiful plot, beautiful character, beautiful cast of characters, a great cast of music,
Mhm.
great selection. I'll give it a A5.
Okay, that's higher than I expected
A5.
to be honest. It's higher. I was expecting an eight. No higher than an eight to be honest.
A5.
Okay. You know, my personal opinion, Chainsaw Man is a 10 for me. I can tell you that now. But we're going off this first season. I can't talk about Chainsaw Man as a whole because it's the first season. I think the first season was a 9. I think it was a 9. I think this is a show. I think this is a great show to show new anime watchers too. It's very weird, but it kind of gets them used to that because all anime got this weird, quirky stuff. And I think Denji is a great main character for new watchers. I think they'll find
Yes.
Denji extremely enjoyable as a main character. I think it's got the comedy for it, the quality. That might be a bad thing. They're gonna go into this, watch this, and then it's mostly downgrades in quality on everything else you watch. You know,
I mean, yeah, yeah. Let me
I
ask you
think
a
it's a
question
nine.
though.
Yeah,
Let me ask you a
go
question.
ahead.
The best moment of Chainsaw Man, it lives up to a nine to you. What's the best moment of Chainsaw Man?
The best moment of Chainsaw Man from the first season.
Yes, from the first season.
The best moment. That's that's tough. I think uh for me the best moment is basically the whole episode with Makima, the train scene, the slow mo, the music's playing, people, getting shot. Katana Man pulls up on them, cone through the freaking cafe. This
Okay,
crazy brawl, crazy animation. I feel like that to me that whole scene that was like the first time like you guys really got in deep and saw what Chainsaw Man is. That's what the show is right there. And it's just crazy nonsense. And I think that is probably the best moment for me because that was the part that embodied the show and the series the most, and gave
Eh,
probably the biggest glimpse into what you can look forward to in the future.
okay.
And I think
So
that
that's
that particular scene was a 10 out of 10 to be honest.
10 out of 10. I would say that scene was probably a nine
Okay.
because I feel like there's always room for improvement, and it was a great scene. But like some things, like for example, when what's her name? The girl,
Makima?
Ghost Girl. No, no,
Himeno?
Ghost Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she died and like how things happened, how later in the line that the girl took the Ghost Devil and stuff like that. So like stuff like that are just little holes for anime watchers that don't know. And and just like from an anime watcher's point of view, I feel like there's a lot of things that don't make sense yet. And if like,
Okay.
I mean, it's season one, that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But like, you wanna give an anime watcher a lot of answers because and questions so that they come back. But if you give us too much questions, like I don't know if I'm gonna want to watch it for the next season. Now,
Uh,
Chainsaw Man in particular, that's not the case. I
okay.
I will watch it because it's so hyped, but there still is a lot of questions to
I
be
don't
fulfilled.
I don't think it necessarily gave us too many questions. I just think it didn't tell us a lot, which is basically like one big question, I guess, of what's going on. But yeah, I can see it.
I mean, and I feel like for plot, that's definitely a hit. I mean, like I said, that scene is beautiful. But if that's the highest of the scene, no other episode even comes close to that particular scene, in
It
my opinion.
okay. Okay.
And and to give the show a nine off of 110 moment and like a bunch of surrounding great stuff, it's like I see it, but like that's where I feel like it has to come down to 8.6, 8.7. That's where my realistic 8.5 is because realistically, that's where it's at, you
Okay.
know. And that's just my personal opinion. Realistically, that's where it's at.
Are we doing specifics or just like 8, 8.5, 9?
Like, what do you mean, like 8.6, 8.7, 8.8?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, you got to find the
I'm gonna
the perfect
say
median.
an 8.7.
Okay, 8.7, 8.7. 8.7 is not bad, but realistically, I think 8.6 is where it's at. And I'm not trying to take from Chainsaw Man. I'm not trying to take from it. I just want you to understand that if it only gets better from here, if we're giving this an 8.7, I feel like we'll come back later and be like, we gave it a little bit too much. Because next season might be a nine, and it might look better than this season of Chainsaw Man in every single aspect. But when it boils down, it's a nine. But we gave this an 8.7. That's what I'm saying. It's more like 8.6. Realistically, 8.5. I'm not gonna say it's generous, but it's high. I feel like 8.5 is high, and going 8.7 is really like that. That's really like up there. Like were you getting the stories where you talking about complete great plot,
You're right. You're right.
great
You're right.
characters.
You know, you're
You
right.
know,
Because we didn't really get anything, to be honest. Okay, I'll agree with 8.5. I can
hey,
agree
you
with
agree
that.
with
I'll
8.5.
agree with it.
And I respect that. I
I'll agree with it.
respect that. I respect that. So Chainsaw Man at 8.5. That's what the Annie Raiders are giving it.
There it
Hey, and if
is.
you haven't seen Chainsaw Man,
You have to.
go go check it out. You sleeping because it is definitely a great show. I think
Absolutely.
everyone should watch it.
Yeah, it's a must
It'll
watch for
definitely
anime.
it'll definitely be in most people's future top 10.
Wait, when it's done,
Definitely,
is definitely. Yeah.
definitely. Now, any last things you want to say before we wrap it up?
Uh, just look forward to Chainsaw Man, guys. It's
Okay,
it's a non-stop ride, and you can't do anything but love it.
yeah, I
Hopefully, we get
respect
it
that.
sometime soon and not like 5 years. Don't pull Attack on
Yeah,
Titan.
yeah. I mean, Mappa. They got four other animes they working on right now. It might
Yeah,
take them a year and a half.
but yeah,
Dude.
that's 8.5. There it is.
All right, man. If you enjoyed, throw a like down there. Comment what anime we should do next, and don't forget to subscribe to the Animators. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Animators out.
Peace.